You know, we all have habits we love to change, but what if I told you it has almost nothing to do with willpower? It's really about understanding a simple, kind of hidden loop in your brain. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the science from the power of habit and give you the actual tools to start reshaping your life one habit at a time. So let's just jump right in with the big one. The question I think we've all asked ourselves: why is it so unbelievably hard to break those bad habits? You know, the mindless scrolling on your phone, biting your nails. Why do these things feel so automatic? Like we're not even the ones in control sometimes.
Well, here's the thing. The answer isn't about just trying harder or having more self-discipline. It's about understanding this really powerful but surprisingly simple mechanism that's running in the background of our minds. I like to think of it like a puzzle, and once you see how all the pieces fit together, that's when you get the power to rearrange them however you want.
See, at the very core of every single one of our habits, the good ones, the bad ones, all of them, is a framework that author Charles Duhigg calls the habit loop. This is basically the brain's three-step cheat code for turning any action into an automatic, effortless routine. And this whole process breaks down into three pretty distinct steps. First up, you have the cue. That's the trigger, the thing that tells your brain, okay, time to go on autopilot. Then that's followed by the routine. That's the action itself, the thing you actually do. And finally, it all ends with the reward, that little bit of positive feedback that tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's remember this loop for next time. Okay, let's use an example we all know way too well. The cue. You feel bored, maybe you're just standing in line. The routine, what do? You immediately reach for your phone. And the reward? Boom. A quick hit of distraction, a little bit of entertainment. Your brain was craving something, and it got it. It's a perfect and really powerful little loop. And this right here is the absolute key. Once you can actually see this loop playing out in your own habits, you're not just a passenger anymore. You can finally grab the steering wheel and start making intentional choices about your behavior. So how do we actually do that? How do we take control? Well, it all comes down to what's called the golden rule of habit change. And it's so much simpler than you think. You keep the original cue, and you keep the original reward. The only thing you have to change is the routine that's sandwiched in between. Let's take smoking, for instance. The cue might be a feeling of stress. The reward the brain is really looking for isn't the cigarette itself, it's relaxation. Now the old routine is lighting up. But what if you put a new routine in its place? Something like taking just 1 minute to do some deep, calming breaths. You see? You still get that reward of relaxation that you were craving, but now you've done it with a much healthier habit. And listen, this isn't just some clever little life hack. This is a scientifically validated framework for making real change. Tons of research has shown that this method, just substituting the routine, is by far the most effective way to make new habits that actually stick. Okay, so we know how to change a habit, but here's where it gets really amazing. Changing just one little routine can set off this massive domino effect, creating all these positive ripples across your entire life. Honestly, this is where the real magic happens. This whole process works through something called keystone habits. Think about a keystone in an arch. It's that one stone at the very top that holds all the others in place. Well, keystone habits do the exact same thing for our personal lives. They trigger all this widespread positive change, sometimes without us even trying. As Duhigg himself puts it, one good habit can change your entire life. And that's the whole point. This isn't about some massive, stressful life overhaul. It's about being strategic, finding that one keystone habit that's going to make everything else just fall into place. And you've probably seen this in action. I mean, think about it. When you start exercising regularly, what happens? You often just naturally start eating better to fuel those workouts, and you start sleeping more soundly to recover. One change creates this cascade of other positive behaviors. That, right there, is a keystone habit. So the big question is, how do you build one of these powerful habits? Well, the secret isn't some massive, heroic effort. It's all about building momentum through what researchers call small wins.
A small win could be something as simple as deciding you're going to read for just 10 minutes a day. That's it. It's not intimidating, it's totally achievable, and you feel good when you do it.
Or maybe it's even simpler. Maybe it's just drinking one more glass of water today than you did yesterday. That's it. That's a win. You did it. You succeeded. You see, Every one of these tiny victories proves to your brain that you are capable of changing. It builds the confidence, it builds the evidence you need for those bigger transformations later on. It's like a feedback loop of success that just keeps growing. So this brings everything we've been talking about right back to you. How can you start putting all this into practice right now, today?
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What is your first small win? What's one tiny, totally achievable change you can make today that could be the start of a whole new positive domino effect in your life? Because the real power to change, it isn't in some huge promise you make for tomorrow. It's in the small win you can give yourself right now.